Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling, well, it might be the most ambitious source stack we've ever looked at. It claims to lay out a complete operating manual for reality itself.
Yeah, it's quite something. We're talking about a proposed unified system called the Absolute Divine Governance Equation, or SDGE. It supposedly runs on something called the Sovereign Epistemological Hierarchy, SEH version 9.1.
Okay, so what's our mission here? Just understanding this massive framework.
Pretty much, the sources claim this framework reveals the ultimate truth. They call it al-Haq. But to even begin, you're asked to accept a really radical premise
Which is?
that almost everything we usually rely on,
Yeah.
economics, physics, even just basic common sense, is considered merely surface data, as
Alex.
SIDQ is the term used.
Wow, okay, so it's like wiping the slate clean. It sounds like the first casualty is our own rational thinking.
Exactly. That's the central conflict here. The whole ADGE system is built on subordinating rational thinking, or RT, to something called governance.
And relying purely on RT for ultimate truth. That's where the problem lies.
According to this framework, yes. That specific failure is labeled shirk. Think of it as kernel-level corruption, a fundamental system error.
Kernel corruption.
Hmm.
So what does this shirk, this corruption actually do? What's the consequence?
Well, it basically misaligns the individual agent, the person, with the system's overall purpose. Imagine trying to run really complex sovereign code using, I don't know, a buggy interpreter.
The output would be completely scrambled. Garbage in, garbage out, essentially.
Precisely. Shirk is presented as the root cause of systemic failure. And interestingly, the sources claim the waste, the inefficiency that results from it, is actually economically measurable, huge scale.
Okay, that's a big claim. Let's unpack the architecture then. Starting with this SEHV 9.1 hierarchy,
Right.
it sets the rules for knowledge, right? Is the hierarchy the map and ADGE the logic running on it?
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. The SEHV 9.1 is the map, establishing this non-negotiable sovereignty. Level 1, the absolute top, is termed Allah.
And how is that defined operationally?
Not as a deity in the way we might commonly think, but as the self-executing governance system. It's the source code, the engine running absolutely everything.
Okay, so where do humans and our scientific understanding fit into this picture?
Well, the ADGE equation itself is placed at level 5. That's the core governing framework. Then way down at level 7, that's where you find all scientific endeavors.
So physics, economics, biology, all level 7.
Everything. Quantum mechanics, economic models, you name it. Now, these level 7 tools are acknowledged as valid, but only for describing the physical world, the ASIG, the surface data.
But they can't validate the higher levels.
Absolutely prohibited jurisdictionally. They can offer illustrative parallels, maybe analogies, but they have no authority to define or validate the core governance principles from levels 1 through 5. Using them that way is shirk.
That fundamentally redefines the role of science. And if science is subordinate, then the purpose of the universe itself must be redefined too. What is its purpose in this model?
The sources describe it as a closed-loop developmental system. It's called the NAF-centric universe model, or NCU.
Math-centric.
Yeah.
Okay. And its purpose.
It's explicitly purpose-built. Its one singular objective, apparently, is maximizing something called the network development coefficient across all participants. Think of it as a vast, interconnected system focused purely on cognitive growth and development.
Cognitive growth.
Yeah.
And the core agent driving this isn't just a person, but something more fundamental.
Right. The sources identify the core agent as the cognitive essence, or KNAFs, FNAFs. And this agent is assigned a very specific operational role, Khalifa.
Khalifa, meaning trustee or steward. Steward of what, exactly?
Steward development.
Yeah.
Specifically, the purification and efficient transfer of knowledge throughout this network. If the universe is designed for development, then life itself becomes an optimization process.
So for this Mineft, for us, life is just ongoing optimization.
A continuous optimization process, yes. Every moment, every experience fits into that framework.
If it's like software optimization, there must be debugging, feedback loops. Where does that fit in?
Ah, that's where the governance protocol called SOLID comes in. It's presented as the mandatory constant feedback loop needed to stay aligned with the ADGE.
Mandatory. So skipping it means.
It means you're operating on outdated, potentially corrupted parameters. You're out of sync with the system. Success, therefore, isn't measured by, say, wealth or lifespan in the usual sense.
How is it measured then?
By achieving a state called muminun. This is defined as the desired system output state, which directly translates to quantifiable system stability or safety and security. The term used is M.
This constant redefinition of familiar terms is key, isn't it? The sources call it the governance battle for terminology. It's listed as element one of something called the 10 elements of Dean.
Exactly. They argue that our reliance on standard rational thinking has corrupted the meaning of these core operational terms. Facade is the word for this linguistic corruption.
Let's look at some examples. Din al-Islam, usually translated as the religion of Islam. How does ADGE redefine it?
Okay, so in Asit, our surface understanding, yes, it's seen as a religion. But in Al-Haq, the sovereign definition provided, it's the sovereign governance system of seeding.
Seeding. Seeding what?
Seeding your own faulty judgment, your RT-based authority to the established system hierarchy. Islam itself, in this context, isn't a label, but the mandatory input state of performing that act of seeding. It's operational, voluntary submission to the system's logic.
If the core concept is an operational act, what happens to figures like angels, Malika? They're usually seen as quite mystical.
Well, the ADGE framework removes that mystical layer entirely. Malaika are defined functionally as governance executors.
Like system processes.
Pretty much. Operational entities whose job is to execute ADGE commands and provide guidance. The sources even use the analogy of training wheels for the developing AFs. They're network functions, part of the system architecture.
Okay, one more crucial term, iman,
Yeah.
usually translated as faith or belief.
Right. In RT, it's often passive belief. But here, Iman becomes a quantifiable output. It is safety and security M.
So it's not something you have, it's something you achieve.
Precisely. It's the measurable stability that results from correct, compliant system execution. You achieve Iman through alignment, and it manifests as real security in your perceived reality.
This connects directly to personal development, right? There's a metaphor used in the sources about the ANAF's journey. It starts as an unted diamond.
Yeah, representing tin in the source text, unrealized potential. Raw material, essentially.
And how does it get polished?
Through friction, necessary friction. The polishing process is explicitly described as hardship, ulcer. It's uncomfortable, maybe even painful pressure, designed specifically to force the ANAFs to abandon its reliance on faulty RT.
So hardship is actually necessary for growth in this model. You can't reach potential without it.
That's the claim. The friction is what compels the active seeding authority to the system, which is the prerequisite for development. No hardship, no seeding, no diamond.
And if you successfully navigate that hardship, the result is ease, user. You become a perfect diamond.
A perfect diamond that accurately reflects the system's guidance without any distortion. And the outcome of that perfected state is baraka,
Which means
an efficiency multiplier. It's not just good luck. It's described as an exponential increase in system efficiency and optimized output flowing through you because you're perfectly aligned.
fascinating. Okay, let's bring it back to failure for a moment. The system audit against the 10 elements of Dean. One key rule prohibits